Okay, today we heard the bill on converting buses, diesel buses, to compressed natural gas or an alternative fuel. I've received a lot of letters from students in my district about this bill. Mainly they're concerned about health issues related to diesel exhaust and clean air issues. And they're very good issues, they're very relevant issues that we should be talking about right now. But what the bill was really about was how to fund it. So I think this bill is a good example of the dilemmas that we sometimes have up here. And everybody wants clean air. Everybody wants healthy children. But this bill really was, as we took a closer look at it, we found some interesting things about it. Namely, that across the state, most school districts have already converted their buses. Most have used their transportation funding or maybe some other sources of funding to start sifting out their diesel fuel fleet through attrition or in their purchases of new buses or selling the old buses. And most of the districts have gotten to a point where either all of their buses are no longer diesel or they just have a few left. But then we found there were a couple of districts, just a few, that were most of the problem. So when we're looking at appropriating millions of dollars to fixing a problem, some of us looked at maybe the problem is not the funding, but rather the districts not prioritizing that themselves. And so to give you an example, I think Alpine School District had only 13 buses left in their fleet to turn over. I think Granite only had about 11. But Davis School District had 113 buses. So clearly, of all the districts, most of the districts have kind of done their part to change these buses out, but we had one district that, for whatever reason, now would like all of the taxpayers of the whole state of Utah to pay for their fleet to be changed over, even though most of the other districts did that on their own. And so if I were to talk to these students who were in support of this bill because they're concerned about clean air, I would try to talk to them about funding priorities and that sometimes we don't vote for something that otherwise seems like the right thing to do, but the question comes down to, should all of the taxpayers of Utah pay for this? And some of that money is going to have to come from other places, like other ways that schools would otherwise get to use that money. If we fund those few districts that refuse to do it on their own or for whatever reason didn't do it on their own when everybody else did, then everybody else has to go without something.